Paige, have you ever noticed how when life gets foggy, our first instinct is to try and push harder?
For sure. But the more we push, the more lost we feel.
Because clarity doesn't come from effort, it comes from a well-lit path.
And being willing to admit that you can't see where the path is taking you yet.
There's a mantra for exactly this moment.
From the unreal to the real, from darkness to the light, from the earth to the open skies, lead me from death to eternal life.
This is Asato Mā, the mantra for guidance. I've practiced yoga consistently for over 10 years now, and I know that the most important part of building consistency is community. Other people to hold you accountable. And second to that is a solid practice plan to help you experience the true benefits of the practice. And this is exactly why I created the OmSom App. It's a free study tool to help you learn the Sanskrit and the philosophy of yoga. Plus, it's the home to our online community, which we call Sadhana Sangha. Every single month, the team and I offer 5 practices, and I guide you through an Asana workshop as well as a subtle technique, and we translate a few lines of the Yoga Sūtra together. It's honestly been my dream to create this app since I started teaching, because this is what I truly needed when I started practicing. So check it out in the show notes, or just search OmSom in the App Store. That's OMSOM. Now, back to the episode. Namaste and welcome to the OmSom Yoga and Ayurveda podcast. My name is Aaron and I am a yoga teacher, lover of yoga, all things yoga. That's what I do. And this is
Paige. I'm Paige Taylor. I am the co-founder of OmSom Yoga and Ayurveda, yoga teacher trainer, and an Ayurvedic health practitioner.
Now, Paige, the people have spoken.
Yes.
Over the last couple of episodes, we've been going through a little bit of a tizzy with some non-listeners. But
teasing.
The listeners have spoken. The listeners have said, I read the comments. Paige doesn't do a lot of comment reading. The listeners have said, be yourself.
Yes.
Your little heart out. And also sing as loudly as you like to. Thank you for that introduction.
I would literally have never done that 5 years ago, but
I know.
Now you have me all singing on your podcast intro.
Exactly. So. I think one of my favorite comments from the last couple of episodes was, don't close your throat for somebody else's closed heart.
I'm sure that person didn't have a closed heart. They were just like probably a little bit like noise sensitive or overstimulated, which I can relate. I mean, I don't listen to podcasts because I can't deal with people's voices. So like I totally relate to that.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so it is Mantra June this month. And we are exploring so many mantras. What mantras have we explored so far?
We've looked at Om, the primordial sound. Then we looked at Gāyatrī mantra and Mahā Mṛtyuñjaya mantra. So,
and this week?
Yeah, the Asato Mā mantra.
Lovely. Otherwise known as the?
I don't know this word. So
Pavamāna Mantra.
Yeah, okay. This is new for me.
Okay.
Never heard it be called this before.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there's actually a whole suktam called the Pavamāna Suktam.
That sounds familiar.
And the Pavamāna Suktam is the mantra which is specifically related to the water element.
Ooh.
When we do the water element on the 300 hour, we look at the Pavamāna Suktam.
Yeah.
But it's this kind of inherently nourishing quality, and that kind of speaks to the essence of this mantra.
Okay.
So this mantra comes from a specific Upanishad. I don't know if I can pronounce this one. Bṛhadāraṇyaka. Bṛhadāraṇyaka.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Bṛhadāraṇyaka.
Yeah.
Bṛhadāraṇyaka.
Yeah, something like that.
Upanishad. We're still learning as well. If you didn't realize, like we're teachers, but we also are just in the process of learning.
Absolutely, always students.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a teacher, really.
Yeah.
There's just people who like to learn and then people who like to share what they learned.
Guides.
And I think the more that we can honor that, the more we can...
Stay humble.
Stay humble.
Yeah, and also be seen as humans.
Exactly. Okay.
Get into the story.
Let's tell the story. So in this story, it's just straight from this Upanishad, but the story basically is like the rishis are gathered around to make a sacrifice.
Oh.
It's in the olden days when sacrifices were, but it's a metaphorical sacrifice. Like in the Vedic tradition, we know about these havans and yagyas, fire ceremonies, where we would make an offering to the fire. And so they're making an offering.
Okay.
But what they're offering is a horse.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's a metaphorical horse. It's vegan friendly.
Vegan friendly story.
Because this horse is the entirety of the cosmos.
Okay.
They say that its head is the dawn, and its eyes are the sun, and its breath is the wind. Right? So this horse represents totality. And they knew that this ritual, like just making an offering doesn't really transform anything. Okay. Right? And that the fire on this altar is a metaphorical fire. Right? And I think in this day and age we really do sometimes think that these things that we do externally are magical, right? But it's what they represent internally that creates the actual transformation. And so they knew this. And so they're talking about the fire of awareness, right? The internal fire that illuminates us. And so right at the peak, when they're about to make this offering of the entire universe to the sacrificial fire, they make this prayer, this very specific prayer. And what makes this prayer really special is that it's not to any specific God. Yes. And it's not requesting that something is changed, but instead they are addressing this to truth itself. Right. To the concept of truth. And so they say, lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from the darkness to the light. Lead me from the death to eternal light. Om Asato Mā gamaya, Tamaso Mā jyotir gamaya, Mṛtyor amṛtaṃ gamaya. And so, this offering has continued in the tradition until this very day, that it's not asking for anything but to be guided on the path, right? And remember we were kind of talking about the Gāyatrī mantra. We were talking about how it's like ask for my mind to be illuminated. Yeah. It's kind of like a specific outcome. Yeah. Whereas this is just saying, please lead me away from Viyoga towards Samayoga. Yeah. Like it's a mantra that asks for that guidance on the path. And really specific to what we said before about there not being any teachers, that there is no teachers. Yeah, interesting. Right? That the original teacher of yoga is consciousness itself. It's awareness itself. Yeah. So they're asking to be pointed in the right direction. As opposed to, in a lot of these stories, they're asking for a superpower. They're asking for the strength of 1,000 men. Yeah. They're asking not to be indestructible, right? Or for all of the riches in the kingdoms. And in a lot of these stories, they're asking for this. But in this one very, very potent story, they're not asking for anything but guidance on the path.
It's nice. It's humble.
And so this prayer that was originally given by 3 rishis who said Asato Mā gamaya, the first one. The second one said Tamaso Mā jyotir gamaya. And the third one says Mṛtyor amṛtaṃ gamaya. Has now become this mantra which gets repeated at the beginning of practices all over the world. If you're listening, maybe you've heard this mantra before. It's very common. It's popular. It's some really, really beautiful renditions, and Paigey very lovingly sang for us the English version, which is very, very popular on Spotify.
Is it Ido and Joe's version?
No, I think there's quite a few.
I feel like Ido and Joe have a version. Yeah. And I think Ellen has a version too. Yeah. Ellen Arthur and Ido and Joe. You should check out their Asato Mās.
Okay. And so, let's have a look at this mantra, shall we? Yep. It starts with the mantra Om. And we know all about Om. If you don't know about Om, then go back a couple episodes, listen to that. Go. Om. Asato Mā gamaya. What is Sat?
Truth.
Truth. Yeah. And what is Asat?
Not truth.
Not truth. So, Asat to Sat. Asato Mā gamaya. Gamaya means lead me, right? Don't give me the truth, but lead me toward the truth. Lead me away from what is not true towards what is true.
It's very empowering as well, because it still is like, lead me there, but let me find it. Let me acknowledge it. Let me
walk the path myself.
Let me walk the path,
Nothing should be given. Tamaso Mā. You love Ayurveda. What does tamas mean?
Tamas means darkness, dullness, heaviness.
Yeah. To jyotir.
Lightness.
Yeah. The internal light is jyotir. Gamaya. So lead me from darkness to light. Yeah. Then Mṛtyor. We know that one. What is Mṛtyor?
Death. We know that from the Mahā Mṛtyuñjaya mantra.
To amrit. Amrit.
Amrit is the nectar of immortality.
Yeah, but it means not death.
Oh,
immortality.
Yeah.
Immortality means you're not going to die.
Yeah, true.
So amrit means not death.
Okay.
So lead me from death to immortality.
Ooh.
And then usually we'll chant at the end, Oṃ Śāntiḥ Śāntiḥ Śāntiḥ.
Which is peace, peace, peace.
Lead me to peace.
It's a simple mantra.
It's so simple. I mean, if you're not very familiar with Sanskrit and you're only an English
I think it's
speaker,
one of the most simpler ones, though, like of the long ones. Like, it's way simpler than Gāyatrī and Mahā Mṛtyuñjaya. It was actually one of the first mantras I was ever introduced to.
Really?
Yeah, on the first night of my 200-hour yoga teacher training, we did kirtana, we did some chanting. And yeah, it was this mantra that we started with. And I remember it just like touched me so deeply.
Is this the story about the cow?
No, that's in India. This was still in Melbourne when we were doing it all in Melbourne.
Right. Is this the one when you cried all the way home and you didn't know why?
That one. I cried all the way home and I didn't know why.
Do you know why now?
I mean, this mantra is still like, even the training I did in January this year, sometimes our teacher would open with this. Just like not even kirtan, just like 3 chants of it. And I would still just cry. Yeah, it's just like very nostalgic, this one for me.
Right, it holds a certain bhavana in your heart.
Yeah.
And what do you think it means to you then?
I think it was just like, you know, this moment where I, didn't know why I was on the path, or I didn't know what I was doing in a yoga teacher training. It was very, very spontaneous and very out of my comfort zone.
Seems like a theme for you, my friend.
Yeah, and then I was there, and I guess it just was very relevant and resonant, like you know, even when the path is not like clear as to where we're going, like, may you still lead me on that path.
Yeah, and that shraddha, have that faith that I will be guided so long as I continue in this direction.
Absolutely. I love faith.
That you can follow a path in the dark.
Yeah, for sure. And just trust the process. Yeah.
Because it's been carved before you.
Absolutely.
And I think in yoga, it's really the truth of the practice. Is like, people have been practicing this for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
It's true.
The people who have come before us, our teachers, right? The stories that we hear, the stories that have been left behind, the practices that have been handed down, they've come from somewhere.
It's true.
Right? And I think for so many of us, we want to get to the destination of yoga as quickly as possible. I want the outcome now.
Yeah.
But that outcome, the experience of yoga takes us time.
Yeah.
And it's just this trusting in the path and trusting in the tradition, trusting in the practices, that if I do the practices, they will lead me to this place.
Absolutely.
They will lead me back to awareness itself. And that awareness itself is the true teacher.
Yeah, and I think there's, this element of shraddha, this element of unshakable trust and faith. I was trying to put 2 words together. I've been doing that a lot recently. And then there's also this, like, understanding that there doesn't need to be any rush, I think, too. Something that I'm, like, relishing in at the moment is, like, not being in a rush to get to any certain destination or understand things fully, like just being on the path even when it doesn't make any sense, and just continuing to show up. It's an interesting practice.
Yeah, I think that's so relieving.
Yeah, for sure. It's liberating.
Yeah, because
we're always in a rush.
We live in this world that almost expects us to be the best at everything immediately.
And to know what we're doing at all times.
Yeah, and to be perceived as an expert on all things.
Yeah.
Because we have access to all of the information in the world.
True.
And yoga is radically the opposite of that. It's a slow burn,
Yeah.
right? And a slow remembering. And we need as many of these reminders as we can get to slow down and to remind ourselves that it's okay not to know.
Yep.
It's okay not to know so long as we keep treading the path.
It's true.
So this can be a really nice mantra, not necessarily as something that you would use for japa, not necessarily as something that you would use as a practice itself, but something that you would use to open your practice.
An invocation.
Yeah, an invocation to your practice to say, hey, I'm doing this practice and I don't really know what the outcome is. And I just am asking, please, that I'm guided toward that in time.
It's a beautiful way to include this into your practice.
Yeah. Yeah, just as an opening.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to add? I think this is such a self-explanatory thing.
Yeah.
I don't think we really
simple.
need to give this an endless conversation.
I think it's simple. I think that the other thing perhaps that I would add is that it's a mantra that you can use to cultivate bhavana in your life. You know, whether it's not so much, like Aaron was saying, like a meditative mantra. Of course you can meditate on it, but invoking it before your practice, but even like singing along with the bhajan, singing along with the chant and the hymn and the rhythm of it, like it just cultivates this specific bhavana in your life. So it's like if you are somebody that is seeking or feeling a little bit lost, or like you're looking for that guidance in life, in chanting this mantra and singing this mantra, you know, even when you're driving or even in your kitchen, just like whenever you feel like you need that bhavana or that upliftment, that is a way that you can include this mantra into your life too.
Instead of the opposite, which is to go and ask people, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? So I have so many of these conversations with especially with yoga teachers. That's kind of like, what do I do next? What should I be doing? What am I missing? You know, what do you think I should do? Yeah. And it's so funny because I'm like, I don't have any. I have a little bit of context into your life, but I really don't have that much. Like, I'm not you. Yeah. Maybe you would know what's best for you to do. Yeah. But so often we kind of seek that external validation. Of course. And there's this facade that all of us put together, push out into the public eye that's like, I have everything together and I have a 5-year plan and I know where I'm headed in life. But truly, no one knows where they're headed in life, because things can be taken away, things can be given in an instant that will change your course forever.
Of course.
And so I think it's just this acknowledgement that we are all here on this little blue dot floating in the middle of the space of the universe that we don't fully understand yet. And potentially we are all entirely alone on this little planet. It's a miracle that we even have these flesh suits to coexist within this realm. Yeah,
it is actually.
And we're all sitting here arguing about the meaning of all of this. We're all sitting here arguing about what the ideal life should look like. But actually nobody knows. And maybe, just maybe, there's something out there, some higher intelligence within the universe that does know. Maybe there's not. But if there is, this mantra allows us to ask for that, not even certainty, but just the faith that I can follow this path that I'm on and that where I'm at is enough.
It comes back to that idea of surrender, right? Ishvara Pranidhana, that you're surrendering to something, to the belief that there is something out there greater than what you could possibly imagine. And as you surrender to that, as you place faith in that, no matter if you give it a label or not, that will guide you.
I think inherently all humans need this.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we all need to put our faith in something. Yeah. Otherwise, what's the point? Like we are living in this empty universe where there seems to be no point of anything that we do. Yeah. And so I think inherently all humans need to find something to believe in and some universal principle that's going to guide us. And there's so many to choose from. You could use from any of the major religions.
Yeah.
Or you could find some obscure text written by someone in the 70s who channeled some wisdom into their being and live your life based on that guidance.
It's like law of attraction.
Yeah. And so I think you're right about the humbleness of this mantra. Like it's this honoring that I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the path. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what the purpose of any of this is. But please, whatever you are, fire of awareness, please guide me.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Okay, so as we said, it comes from the, should I try it again?
Yep.
Bṛhadāraṇyaka Upaniṣad.
Close enough.
Bṛhadāraṇyaka Upaniṣad. Okay. Now it comes from this kind of story. It's embedded in a passage of chants from these priests who were doing this sacrifice. But those 3 lines from that chant have been kind of lifted out and become the mantra. Okay. In the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, there is a list of obstacles to the practice of yoga. But there is one in specific that Patanjali talks about. He calls it Bharanti Darshana.
Okay.
Right? Darshana means like you've been gifted knowledge. And Bharanti Darshana means that you are falsely perceiving that knowledge.
Interesting.
Right? Now, what would that false perception be on the path of yoga? Thinking that you know the path. Thinking that you know and understand the goal.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think this mantra, Asato Mā, directly addresses that Bharanti Darshana, that false perception, by humbling ourselves. We can no longer mistake the unreal for the real. We can no longer mistake asana as the whole practice of yoga. And then we can start to move into the practice, right? And this is Patanjali's solution to this problem, because Patanjali gives hundreds and hundreds of different meditations that you can do. And I think in yoga, this is one thing that a lot of people struggle with, is like, what do I do?
There's so much to choose from.
Do I do this asana? Do I do this asana? Do I do them in this order? Should I do this breathing? Should I do this meditation? And Patanjali says, Eka tattva abhyasaha. And I think if we can, just practice one thing. And if we can use this mantra to request that, Asato Mā sat gamaya, Tamaso Mā jyotir gamaya, Mṛtyor Mā amṛtaṃ gamaya. Can you please show me awareness, whatever is out there? Can you please show me which of these practices will lead me in this direction? Which meditation will lead me in this direction? And I think one thing that I really took from Indu when she was here, Indu is our teacher, one thing that she said to me was, I can't tell you what your practice is meant to be. And I'm like, but you're my teacher. You have to be able to tell me. And she says, no, I can't tell you. You have to do the practice that feels the best for you. You have to do the practice that will move you toward that state in the way that you need it.
That's interesting.
And it does kind of decouple us from reliance on the teacher.
From reliance on anyone.
And allow us to just trust that if we pick one practice, it may or may not be the right practice.
Yeah. And I think that maybe what comes up here for me is this idea, you know, the saying goes that when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. I think that directly relates to this mantra, but I also think it doesn't have to be the teacher, like you're saying here, that it can just be the practice, you know, that when you're ready, the right practice will show up for you, and you just have to keep that curious mindset, that, you know, seeking mindset of, you know, what's next, and just like follow the coincidences through life, and eventually like the right path will be revealed to you. And there's an element of trust in that. But when you find practices that just feel like home for you, that's when you know they're the practices for you.
What a blessing.
What a blessing.
To those who have found those practices, what a blessing.
And sometimes it takes years, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The other day, someone was asking me, remember I was giving that meditation workshop and I was talking about this exact thing, ekam tattva abhyasaha, practice one thing, your special object of meditation. And one of the students came up to me at the end of the practice and she said to me, what's your special object? She looked at me with these kind of like eyes of just like, I want to know what you practice.
Yeah.
And I said back to her, that's for me to know and no one else.
Yeah.
That my object of meditation should only be accessible to me.
Yeah. And I think that like this is something that we learned from Indu as well to share. And it doesn't come from a place of secretiveness or I don't want you to know what I meditate on, but actually it comes from a place of if I tell you what it is, you might place a certain experience or emphasis on my meditation technique that works for me, but it might not work for you. And then when you try it, you might have a negative experience and think, you know, so, like it just spirals from there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's almost this, like, I don't know what the word is, but refinement in how we share as teachers and how much we share in terms of our own experience and our own practice to ensure that we're not tainting or influencing our students' experience with the practice themselves.
Yeah. And
it's a fine line.
Through that, empowering the people to be illuminated within themselves.
To choose their own
know
practices.
What that path is for themselves.
Exactly.
Okay. So, in the Chandogya Upanishad, they give a specific description to this one word, which is at the end of this mantra. Mṛtyor amṛtaṃ. Amrita is the essence of this Pavamāna Mantra, right? Amrit, as you said, is kind of like this nectar of immortality. And so this is the description from this Chandogya Upanishad, and it comes from Brahma. He says, the self is free from evil, free from old age, free from death, and, this is your favorite line, free from sorrow. Vishoka.
Yeah.
Right? And I think a lot of people get stuck on Amrit because they think it's a physical substance.
Yeah.
They think it's some plant medicine or some herb that they might find out in the forest somewhere.
And that it means literal immortality, like we would understand it in a sci-fi film.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is a really interesting thing in the wellness industry at the moment because we have this rise of the biohackers and the peptides and the you know, I'm going to reverse my biological age and my biological markers and I'm going to beat death.
Yeah.
You know, don't die.
Yeah.
But I think what's really beautiful about the yogic teachings, and you know, I even watched a movie last night about this really beautiful film on SBS. I don't remember what it was called, but this acceptance of death, knowing that the self is immortal.
Yes.
Right? And so then this description of the self is the description of this amrit, this nectar of immortality.
Yeah.
Right? But the nectar of immortality is not a physical nectar that will make your physical body immortal.
Yeah.
But this nectar is a metaphorical nectar, the nectar of knowledge.
Yeah.
The nectar of knowledge of the self, which is also the knowledge of yoga.
Yeah.
The knowledge of the self, which is free from evil, free from old age, free from death, and free from sorrow. That is beyond the body and beyond the breath and beyond the mind. That nectar is the ultimate nectar that our practice will bring us.
And that's non-attachment as well, right? It's just the practice and the understanding of non-attachment that actually by letting go, that's how we achieve immortality.
Yeah, I mean, that's two parts of practice, isn't it? Abhyasa, vairagya.
Yeah.
Do the practice and
release,
surrender the results.
Yeah, for sure.
Do the practice and free yourself from the clinging to this life, which causes so much suffering.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big.
This is a deep episode. All right. What kind of practical applications could we use here?
You can do a little bit of Ayurveda.
Yeah. What is Ayurveda going to say?
I think what's just interesting about this is it really speaks about how we look at Ayurveda from the mind. So as you mentioned, when we're looking at the translation, it speaks of tamas, which is this dullness and this heaviness and this darkness within the mind. And Ayurveda believes that all signs of imbalance, symptoms of disease, everything that arises that negatively affects our experience arises from the mind. And so there's this big emphasis on making sure that we're working to pacify the mind. And that means on a conscious level, but it also means on a subconscious level and emotional level too. One of our students sent me this Instagram thread yesterday, and it was like an Ayurvedic, like the root of all these diseases from an Ayurvedic perspective. And she was asking if it was real, like if I believed it. And I was like, wow, like I was like, this is a massive post, you know, because it's like it's going through all women's reproductive health problems and then some normal ones as well, like indigestion and things like that. But it's like just like from the head on, like the root cause emotionally, you know, and it's just like your capacity to like rest and relax in life and things like that. And it's quite full on to read that. And there's so much nuance to it, obviously. But it's so true. And like I turned to her and I said, yeah, like this is what Ayurveda believes. This is truth. And that, yeah, that's what this mantra really speaks to, is that we have to move away from that tamas, that dullness, that darkness, that lethargy of the mind, to see clearly, to understand that we have control over our life, to understand that we are in and responsible for our life, that every action that we can take can lead us towards that state of health if we choose it to. And so I feel like this mantra also is one that invokes that of Ayurveda, that, you know, even if I don't know what health looks like for me, even if I don't know what the right things are for me to do in this moment to ease these signs of symptoms or disease or imbalance, I'm going to work towards creating a sattvic mind, a clear, calm and stable mind through specific practices, through the withdrawal of the senses, through filtering what I am taking in through the senses, and may that lead me on the right journey towards my health. So
Beautiful.
I think it applies to yoga, but it also applies to Ayurveda.
And what you're saying is that these three gunas of the mind, tamas, rajas, sattva, of those three, sattvic is going to bring health.
Yeah.
And we're asking for Tamaso Mā jyotir.
Yeah, jyotir could be likened to sattva as well, right? It's similar. It's that lightness and that clarity. And so, yeah, it's, you know, and maybe you were with us when we spoke about it. I remember a while ago now, where we spoke about the journey between these three gunas in the mind, that you usually start with tamas, and then you have to move a little bit into rajas to get the tamas moving and break it up. And then from that rajasic space, you calm down the rajas to move towards sattva.
And that sattvic mind is, in Ayurveda's viewpoint, the healer of all diseases.
Exactly. Magic.
Crazy. Okay. And so obviously then, like, that sattva can be cultivated through many other things. What else can we use in Ayurveda for sattva?
I mean, in Ayurveda, there's sattva in everything that we can do. One of the main things that you can do is eat a sattvic diet. If you Google sattvic diet, I'm sure you'll find some things. Traditionally, like from the yoga perspective, like what do we call it? Contemporary yoga?
Contemporary yoga is like modern yoga?
No.
Classical yoga?
Classical yoga, yeah. In classical yoga, like the yogis, a sattvic diet would look like fruit and nuts and seeds. And it doesn't have to look like that anymore.
Diet.
It's an aesthetic diet. But now it's, you know, eating as less processed foods as we possibly can, making sure that we're eating clean and healthy and organic vegetables where we can, trying to avoid things that create inflammation like the nightshades, family, caffeine, all of these things, as well as maybe limiting our intake of meat, which is inherently tamasic. It's inherently dull and dark and heavy, as well as like reheated food, frozen food, all of these things. So it's really just about eating a really well-balanced, natural, organic, as close to nature diet as possible. And then from there as well, just being really specific. It kind of comes back to brahmacharya, like the right use of your energy, moderation, knowing where to invest your energy, making sure the stuff that is coming in through your senses, through your ears, through your eyes, through your skin is all as pacifying to a calm mind as possible.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
lightness. Cultivate lightness in everything that you do, and that lightness will guide you toward the light.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a very yogi kind of idea, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that heaviness, like overeating, over consuming, anything that kind of like causes that tamas in the mind, in the body, is inherently unhelpful for us in yoga, because yoga should prepare us towards that inner light, that jyotir, which is awareness itself, and awareness resting in awareness is called yoga. Okay, so I want to wrap this up. We're trying to keep these podcasts a little bit shorter these days, but we always end up talking too long. I know, it's because we get excited.
Yeah.
So shall we finish with one recitation of the mantra?
Yeah,
and then that way people can hear it and they can learn it, and then they can maybe, if it feels appropriate, chant it in the beginning of their own yoga practice.
Sure.
Because that really is the practical takeaway. Om Asato Mā gamaya, Tamaso Mā jyotir gamaya, Mṛtyor Mā amṛtaṃ gamaya. Oṃ Śāntiḥ Śāntiḥ Śāntiḥ. Did I miss a line?
I don't know. I think I was going for like the fourth line of the Mahā Mṛtyuñjaya mantra.
Okay. Gotcha. I was just like, I'm sure it was finished. Om Asato Mā gamaya, Tamaso Mā jyotir gamaya, Mṛtyor Mā amṛtaṃ gamaya.
Yeah.
Okay. This mantra does not say, I will go.
Yes.
It says, lead me in that direction. So let yourself be led. Trust in the practice. Trust in the tradition. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
We'll see you next time.